Is my screen visible, Rashwan?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So we'll move on the treatment now with our treatment unit operation as sedimentation process. Okay. So now we are now moved from flocculation to sedimentation. Okay. So let me repeat again. So the point here, what I'm repeatedly saying, it is you should also know the flow of water treatment. Okay. That's what I'm keeping in all lectures to remind you. At least you just should be familiar on your treatment chain. Okay. So we have started with water source. These are on-site treatment technologies to remove the solids by screen and use the low service pumps from a reservoir or from a source. You just bring down to a city or to a nearby treatment plant, and where you have to start your treatment operation. The very initial treatment operation is the coagulation followed by flocculation techniques, because most of the solids is coming in. It is in negatively charged particles. It will also repel each other because of same charges. And to destabilize the colloids, then you have to bring down the particles, or you have to make the particles to meet each other. That may not happen very immediate, because it will repel. Repulsive force is more than that of attractive force. So what I have to do now, I have to add a coagulant to reduce the repulsive force. Thereby these particles can be brought together. Destabilization may happen. Okay, for that this you have to add a chemical. That chemical is called as coagulant, and the process you can call it as the coagulation process. Okay, the purpose of the rapid mixing is to disperse the chemical. Thereby the thorough contact between the solids and the chemicals plus water will happen in the rapid mixing tank. Okay, and here destabilization may happen, but will not allow the particles to form a bigger flocks. So after rapid mixing, allow the particle to be in the flocculation chamber. That's what I told you in the last class. You have two different types of flocculation techniques. One is macro flocculation, and there is about micro flocculation. And both the flocculation techniques may be influenced by different mechanisms. Okay, so that you provide a simple agitation or mixing, thereby the whatever the flocks are already being formed during the rapid mixing process can be brought together, or you can enhance the process to collide each other. It will form a bigger flocks. Okay, so here also, because of vertical simple mixing, flock formations may take place and aggregates also may form, but here I will not allow the particle to settle. Okay, is it okay? So up to this we have discussed. Now we are here. The primary objective is to remove the flock materials. Is it okay? Bigger flocks is already been formed here, and I'll allow the particle to stand. Very simple action, or allow the particle to stand for some period of time. Because of the gravity, particles start settling down. Whatever it is settled down at the bottom, you can call it as sludge. And there could be a possibility. This also I need not be necessarily to keep the water for a long period of time. Okay, and with a particular detention time, maybe 4 to 5 hours or something. And with the 4 to 5 hours, there could be a possibility of the flock settlement with the bigger flocks alone may take place. Lighter flocks also sometimes leave out of the system. That will be taken care in the next mechanism or next treatment operation by simple filtration techniques. So whatever we are going to discuss is only this. Is it okay?
Yes.
Only the objective is to remove or to separate the chemical flocks. That's all. Okay, of at least larger to considerable medium size. Imagine now, if I want to keep the waste water for a long period of time, I may need a bigger holding tank or bigger sedimentation tank. That is not necessary. Okay, because it will lead to your construction cost. Instead of a smaller tank, you have to construct a bigger tank. So that is not necessary. So at least with the particular size and also fraction can be taken care in the sedimentation basin. Okay, whatever is settled down at the bottom is sludge. You can take care, and the lighter fragments or lighter flocks will escape from the sedimentation activity. So what we are going to discuss now, it is only sedimentation activity. Okay, yeah. Okay, sedimentation is the process of allowing the particles in suspension in water to settle out of the suspensions under the effect of gravity. It's very simple. Please remember, sedimentation tanks or otherwise sedimentation or otherwise is called as settling, or otherwise is called as clarification. Okay, tanks are called sedimentation tanks or settling tanks or clarification tanks or clarifiers. Is it okay?
Yes, sir.
Very simple. Separation of solids by the simple action of gravity. Okay. Sedimentation is also known as settling. That's what I told you. Settling may be defined as the removal of particles from a suspension by settling under gravity. Okay, you need not remember individual statements or definitions. You can remember sedimentations or otherwise called as settling process. Okay, so the particles that settle out from the suspension become a sediment, and in the wastewater treatment, it is called as sludge. It is called as or known as a sludge. Okay, and when a thick layer of this sludge continues to settle, and this process is also called as consolidation. Please make a note on thick layer of sediment continues to settle at the bottom of the sedimentation tank, and this is known as consolidation. Okay, so this consolidation may not happen automatically. It may be assisted by mechanical means. Then this is known as a thickening process. Okay, so please make a note on sedimentation is a simple action by gravity, and primary predominant objective is to remove the chemical flux. It is also otherwise is called as settling, or otherwise is you can call it as simply clarification. Whatever the particles is settled out at the bottom of the tank, you can call it as a sludge. Once the sludge starts settling down at the bottom, layer by layer, you may have an accumulation also. If that's the case, you can call it as consolidation of that particular sludge. This consolidation normally may not happen automatically. What do you do? Normally, you have to take out or withdraw from the sedimentation tank. You just assist with mechanical means. Thereby, you can squeeze out the water and you can thicken only the sludge. That is easy to handle in the treatment system. Is it okay?
Yes.
So these are the objectives. The main objective is to reduce the concentration of the particle. If the first one, please listen carefully. To reduce the concentration of particles in the suspension before the application of coagulation. Okay, that means there could be one more sedimentation tank in this position. Okay, that if it is been added, that you can call it as pre-sedimentation. Is it fine? Before coagulation process. Imagine now, immediately after the rainfall, and your water source contains large amount of solids. Okay, if it is more amount of solids, it may normally occupies or requires more amount of chemicals to remove. So instead, what I do, bigger particles can be removed by simple action prior to coagulation. That's the case. That is called pre-sedimentation process. Is it okay?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So to reduce the concentration of particle in suspension before the application of coagulation, that is called pre-sedimentation. And to reduce the amount of coagulating chemicals or after coagulation and possibly flocculation. This is what we are discussing now. After flocculation, we have here I may not call it as the solids directly. I may call in terms of chemical flux or flux, you can remember simply. Okay, if you after coagulation or after flocculation, that you won't call it as particles because these are already destabilized colloids. So you can simply call it as flux. Okay, so normally sedimentation after flocculation helps you to remove or separate the chemical flux or flux simply. Okay, yes. And when sedimentation is applied after coagulation, its purpose is usually to reduce the concentration of solids in suspension so that the subsequent filtration can function more effectively. Imagine our situation if there is no sedimentation tank after flocculation. What will happen? Imagine our situation, there is no flocculation, there is no sedimentation chamber or tank after flocculation. What is the main problem? Load on to a filter. It is also possible to retain the solids in the filter, but the problem is it choke the filter very frequently. You have to go for a operation as well as cleaning subsequently, or it may create a lot of problems in the filter operation. Is it okay? So to reduce the load on the filter operation or filter, and you should have sedimentation prior to your filtration process. Is it okay?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, please make a note on this point is important. Where you can have your sedimentation. Sedimentation can be pre-sedimentation or post-sedimentation. Pre-sedimentation normally or pre-sedimentation may be helpful to remove larger amount of suspended solids before getting into coagulation or flocculation basin. And after flocculation, if you have a sedimentation, it may also have a possibility to remove as much as possible the chemical flocks or flocculants or simple flocks. Thereby you could reduce the load to the filtration unit. Okay, yes, yeah. Okay. Generally, these sedimentation tanks are very simple concept called solid liquid separation. Very simple. You just allow the flock to have it off in a tank, allow them to settle by simple action of gravity. Thereby, it will form liquid and solid separation. Please make a note on. Very simple action, liquid solid separation. That's what the process is simply called as clarification process. Please make a note on. Other term or other name of sedimentation is also a clarification technique. Clarification is very simple. Solid liquid separation. That's what it is termed as the clarification process also. Clarification process also. Okay. Yes. The concentrated solids, whatever it is accumulated at the bottom, can be withdrawn. Okay, impurities can be withdrawn from the bottom of the tank. These are called as sludges, and the material which is floats at the top, you can call it as simply scum. Okay, please make a note on. Anyway, scum, which is may not have issue or problem in water because water is very clear, but in the wastewater also there could be a pre-sedimentation and also other secondary sedimentation also. Okay, if it is related to the wastewater, there could be a there could be a formation of scum layer at the top of the sedimentation tank as well. Okay, that you can call it as scum material. Is it okay? Sludge at the bottom, scum at the top. Sludge can be withdrawn and scum can be skimmed out or screened out or skimmed out. Skimming is very important term. Skimmed out at the top of the sedimentation basin. Is it okay?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so please remember what is sedimentation, what is settling, and what is its consolidation, and what is its clarification, what is sludge, and what is the scum, and what is the principle of or what is the mechanisms behind the sedimentation activity. You can remember simply as simple action by gravity. Okay, what are the main purpose or objectives is it may reduce the load to the filtration operation or filter units. So that's a primary objective if you remove all the destabilized colloids well in advance. Okay, yes. Okay, anyway, this sedimentation is again a unit process. The separation of suspended particles heavier than the water by the action of gravity. Please make a note of separation of suspended solids heavier than that of water and takes place by the virtue of gravity. Okay, yes. The process of bringing down all the settleable solids under the influence of gravity, the particles of mass density higher than that of surrounding fluid start moving down. Please make a note on. Either you can relate to density of solids and density of water, or you can also remember specific gravity of solids and specific gravity of water. Okay, it should be greater. Is it fine? So these 2 points are explained in these 2 lines. If it is density of solids is more than that of water, obviously it will settle down. If it is vice versa, it may not. There is not worth enough to keep your solids in a long period of time in a sedimentation tank. Is it okay?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, please remember these 2 points. Density should be greater than that of your surrounding liquids. Okay, yes. Now, during settling, these particles have to encounter the frictional resistance of the fluid and viscosity. Please make a note on. Okay, imagine our situation. You have a tank and particles is coming in after flocculation. What will happen? It may enter, and thus the particles have to encounter the frictional resistance. Please make a note on frictional resistance of the fluid, okay, as well as viscosity. These are directly connected. Okay, if the viscosity is more, in the water, what will happen? Higher viscous and offer lesser resistance, thereby the particles start moving down very faster. And viscosity is more, it offer more resistance. Viscosity is more or viscosity is less, thereby it will allow the particle to settle. Please make a note on. During settling, the particle have to encounter the frictional resistance of fluid as well as viscosity. You can also highlight if viscosity is more or viscosity is less, what will happen with the settling behavior. Okay, so please make a note on. For larger particle, friction is the concluding factor. For a smaller particle, viscosity is important. This last point is very important. Okay, so the size or the fraction of particles or size of the particles are greater or bigger in size, then you have to be cautious with the friction friction is the concluding factor, and the smaller particle, viscosity is important. Viscosity is important. Okay. So these are the different factors which influence your sedimentation activity. Number one, characteristics of the solids, which include size and shape plays a matter, and specific gravity of solids and concentration of solids. And the characteristics of the liquid, again temperature, viscosity. These two are interrelated. Okay, viscosity and also temperature, and the specific gravity of water also. And physical characteristics of the tank, which includes shape. Shape is important. Normally shape may be either rectangular or circular, so which plays a role. And depth of the tank. Depth of the tank is also important. Okay, because this depth of the tank is important in the case of circular, or if it is in the case of rectangular tank. Imagine our situation, and the particles is coming in. Okay, and it will come to a sedimentation tank like this, rectangular sedimentation. And you can also classify or segment the fractions of sedimentation tank into 3 different zones. One is about inlet zone, and this is your outlet zone, and this is your sludge zone. Okay, the main objective is I have to bring down all the sludges or all the flocks to the sludge zone. Thereby, the water which is coming out of the sedimentation tank is free from solids. Okay, this may not happen automatically, because there could be a possibilities of water velocity which will drag the particles in the forward direction. As soon as the particles enters into a system, it will drag like this in the forward direction, and the self weight of the particle also drags the particles in the downward direction. Thereby, these particle traces a parabolic path that anyway we'll be discussing later in this part. Is it okay? So please remember the physical characteristics of the sedimentation tank plays an important role in removing the solids. Let me repeat again: characteristics of the solids, characteristics of the liquid, and physical characteristics of your tank dimensions, especially depth, retention time, length, and wind effect. Because these are open, very large tanks, there could be a wind effect. The wind effects will cause local circulation of solids only at the top. It will not allow the particle to settle at the bottom of the sedimentation tank. Is it okay? These are some preliminary concept, at least for your understanding, that just have a look, but not for examination point of view. Just remember characteristics of the liquid, characteristics of the fluid, solids, and the physical characteristics of the tank dimensions. Is it okay?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So being familiar with the definition, now we'll move on to classification of settling behavior. Please make a note of. Okay. So types of settling behavior, and these are classified into 4 different type of settling behavior pattern. Number 1, discrete particle settling. Number 2 is flocculent settling, particle settling. Number 3, hindered or zone. 4th one is about compression settling. Okay, so before that, you should also be familiar with what is discrete particle. Okay, so please remember the word discrete. Any particle does not change its size, shape during the process of sedimentation. That particles are called as discrete particles. Please remember, the particles are individual entities. These are flocks, individual entities which may not affect the nearby particle, and once the gravity is more, it starts settling down at the bottom of the sedimentation tank without any difficulty. It will not interfere or affect the nearby particle. Is it okay? These particles are called as discrete particle, and the type of settling is called as discrete particle settling. Is it fine? Any particle does not change its size and shape during the process of sedimentation. That type of settling is called as discrete type particle settling, or simply they call it as type 1 settling. Is it okay?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Number 2 is flocculent settling. Imagine now, if you recall macroflocculation, what we have discussed, and you have a particle with 2 different sizes. One is bigger, another is about the smaller, and bigger particles has more gravity than, or more weight than that of the smaller particle. It travels very faster than that of this particle, and during this downward travel, and these bigger particles may collide with the smaller particle. It will become again a flock, or it may form aggregates. That type of settling, we call it as flocculent settling. Is it okay?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So if number one is discrete, which may not hinder or affect the nearby particles without any situations it will not affect. That is number one, a discrete particle. Flocculent is because of differential settling or because of different size and shape, there could be a collision which will form again flocculent settling or flocculent settling. And third one is about the zone settling. Okay, and each and every because it's particles, so once you imagine our situation, the destabilized colloids are brought into a common tank. So what will happen immediately after that? You have a stratification. Different size and shape will form a different stratas like this. Okay, each and every dimensions or size of the particles will form the zones like this, and because of this, all the particles move downwards zone by zone. So that type of settling you can simply call it as hindered settling, or otherwise is called zone settling. The last one is about the compression settling. The particles does not want to settle at any point of time, but because of the upper layer movement or compression from the above layers, these particles has to tend to go for settlement. Okay, that type of settling you can call it as compression settling. So let me repeat again. Number one, discrete particle settling. Number two is flocculent settling. Number three is about zone settling. Number four is compression settling. Is it okay? Is it fine?
Yes, sir.
Okay, it's very simple concept we used to recall, like this you can compare with the individual in a class of 60, and say example, some people are with the unique characteristics, so that you can call it as discrete. Whether class happens or not, or the teacher discusses the classes in lessons in the class or not, and people start reading on the notes by their own. Okay, that is about the discrete, very unique characteristics. And flocculent is about by at least by neighbor. Okay, by seeing or they may have a joint hands. Sometimes they may also have a group study kind of a thing. Okay, so by joining 2, 3, there could be a possibility of this second type of settling. Third one is about zone. Okay, for examination or some sort of activity, and everybody may go together. Okay, some sort of zone settling process. And fourth one is about compression. Being taken a course for a particular semester, anyway I had to study, I have to get through the examination. For that, I am doing these sort of activity. Something like this. People are not ready to go, but anyway, by pressure, I had to move in a path. Something similar to that situation. You can call it as compression settling. Is it okay? Discrete is individual, flocculent is together, and hindered is by group of particles or by zone wise. And last one is about the particle doesn't want to settle, but because of the upper layer or pressure, and particles settle by compression. These are four individual typing of or types of settling behavior. So these two, 1 and 2 may happen in the water treatment plant, and 3 and 4 may happen in the wastewater treatment plants. Anyway, these two we are not going to discuss. Only in the water chemistry we are going to discuss only these two, discrete and flocculent settling. Is it fine?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So we'll see the definition now. Class 1 is meant for sedimentation of particles in suspension of low solids concentration. Low solids concentration in a tank, particles are very looser. Okay, but low solids concentration and particles are apart. Okay, so these particles will settle individually without interaction of nearby particle or neighboring particle. That class you can call it as discrete particle settling or class 1 settling. Is it okay? Please remember these 2 points: low solids concentration and particles settle down individually without interaction with the neighboring particles. Is it fine?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Number 2 is flocculent settling. Here also again with the dilute suspension, and which flocculate during sedimentation. That's what I told you. Bigger flocks and smaller flocks, and this also with moving. This also start moving, and there could be a situation. This bigger flocks may sometimes is collide or hit each other. Thereby it will become a flock. Okay. Yes. This dilute suspension which flocculate during the sedimentation operation. Flocculation causes the particle to increase in mass, thereby it will settle down very faster. Is it fine? This is about the second type of settling or flocculent settling. Is it okay?
Yes, sir.
Third one is hindered settling or zone settling. Here, this may happen in an intermediate concentration. Interparticle forces hinder the settling of the neighboring particle. The mass of particle tend to settle as unit with individual particles remaining in a fixed position. with respect to each other. A solid liquid interface develops at the top of the settling mass. That's why I told you. Each and every section of particles with uniform size and shape will move downwards as zone by zone. That you can simply call it as hindered or zone settling. So please make a note on the mass of particles tend to settle as a unit, with individual particles remaining in a fixed position. It will move zone by zone with respect to each other. You could also find out a clear-cut interface between solid liquid separation. Solid liquid separation develops at top of the settling mass. So this is about type 3 zone settling process. And type 4 is compression. This normally happens, the concentration of the particles are so high, and further sedimentation can occur only through compaction of the structure. Please make a note on. Particle doesn't want to settle, and above which particles are moving in a zone wise, and thus because of this zone movement, it will allow the particle to compress. Okay, so sedimentation can only occur through compaction of the structure. The compaction takes place through the weight of the particle, which is continuously increased by sedimentation from overlying liquid. Please make a note on, because of compression, and these particles tend to come down to a sedimentation behavior. Is it okay? So these are 4 types of settling behavior. Number 1, discrete particle settling. Discrete particle, I already mentioned to you. Particle does not change the size, shape during the process of sedimentation. That you can simply call it as discrete particle. Type 1 is called as discrete particle settling. Type 2 is flocculant settling. Type 3 is zone settling, and type 4 is your compression settling. Is it okay?
Yes, sir.
Okay, yeah. This, I guess you would have this you would have studied somewhere in +2 level also. I'm not sure about how to calculate the settling behavior of discrete particle by Stokes law. It's very simple. Okay, so this is what I've defined. Any particle which does not alter the size, shape during the process of sedimentation, that is called a discrete particle. Okay, yes. Okay, this is the statement. Please remember, when any discrete particle is falling in a hyacinth liquid, it will accelerate until the frictional resistance is equal to gravitational force acting on the particle. Please make a note on this. Okay, so now if you equate frictional resistance to a gravitational force, automatically you can able to calculate settling velocity of the discrete particle. So please make a note on this. Something is important. Any particle is falling through a hyacinth liquid, it will accelerate until the frictional resistance is equal to gravitational force, and at this stage, a particular particle will gain with the or will settle with the uniform velocity. That velocity is called as settling velocity. Let me repeat again. When any particles is entering into a sedimentation basin, okay, it will fall under or falling through a liquid. It will accelerate until the frictional resistance is equal to the gravitational force acting upon the particle. At that particular stage, okay, the particle will settle at a uniform velocity. That velocity is called as settling velocity. So please make a note on these 2 definitions are important. What is discrete particle is important. What is settling velocity is important. Okay, yes. Okay, yeah. Now this impelling force that I told you, that is impelling force of a spherical particle. You can remember this equation, that Fi is equal to the density difference in between water as well as solids. Okay, so this is very simple, that gamma S minus gamma W into volume of the discrete particle. Okay, gamma S minus gamma W, where gamma is meant for specific weight of solids, gamma W is meant for specific weight of water, and assume that these particles are spherical in nature. So thereby the volume becomes 4/3 phi r cube. Okay, this is equation number 1. And according to Newton's law of frictional resistance, this equation also we have seen in the previous class. Okay, but drag force, while discussing in flocculation chamber design, we have discussed or we have seen this formula: CdA rho V square by 2. Okay, if I equate 1 and 2, okay, so CdA rho V square by 2, which is equal to 4/3 pi r cube into rho s minus rho w. Equate A can be replaced as pi r square because this is circular spherical and circular particle, okay, spherical particle. The area of the spherical particle is about pi r square. CD pi r square rho V s square by 2, which is equal to 4 by 3. So if you now remove the common terms, it will become like this. Okay, and our objective is to find out what is the velocity. Vs square is equal to, you can simply rearrange that equation. 2 into 4 is 8r divided by 3 into 3 Cw here, and rho s minus rho w into 1 by rho w. Okay, this is very simple. Okay, and now it is also been realigned like this. So gamma s I can replace as rho s into g. Gamma w I can replace as density into gravitational force. And what I do, I'll take out g out, common term out. Thereby, this becomes now rho s minus rho w by rho w. Then I can have a ratio of rho s by rho w is equal to specific gravity. This will become 1. Thereby, this Vs equation is like this. Vs square is equal to 4dg by 3cd into ss minus 1. Is it okay? This also is not very challenging. That is very easy to remember the formula. Is it fine? Is it okay?
Yes, sir.
You have to equate the impelling force to the drag force. That's all. And simply you just modify with your properties of water. Okay, Vs square is this one. Now, what is CD? Okay, now we have, because all other parameters are known, but the CD is again you have to calculate. Okay, the CD normally depends on the density of water, relative velocity, particle diameter, and viscosity. So Re, okay, CD is again a term with Reynolds number. Okay, Reynolds number you would have already familiar. Vs into D by nu. That is kinematic viscosity of water. Kinematic viscosity. Okay, kinematic viscosity is equal to mu by rho. That also you would have seen in fluid mechanics. Dynamic viscosity by density of water. Is it okay? This is Re is equal to Vd by nu. Okay, and CD is also been rated as 24 by Re. Please make a note on this formula also. CD is again related to Reynolds number, 24 by Re. The drag coefficient as the Reynolds number. Okay, and Reynolds number is less than 2 or 1 if it is the laminar flow condition, and CD again and related to Re is by this expression, linear expressions like CD is equal to 24 by Re. Okay, yeah. Now what I do, I have an equation. Okay, here Vs square, which is equal to 4dg divided by 3 into CD. That's what we had discussed in previous one, SS minus 1. Okay, CD I am substituting as 24 by Re. 24 by Re I am substituting here. So this Re again, Re is being replaced as Vd by kinematic viscosity. Okay, so once you substitute CD as well as Re value in this basic equation and simplify that equation, you may get settling velocity of the particle as g by 18 into ss minus 1 into d square by u. Is it okay?
Yes, sir.
Okay, this equation is called as the Stokes equation. Okay, please remember this equation is valid only the Reynolds number if it is less than 1 or the flow condition is laminar. Is it okay? This equation is valid only for laminar flow conditions. And if the Reynolds value is more than 2, less than 2 and more than 500 to 1000, then CD correction has to be done using this formula. CD is equal to 24 by Re, that we know the formula, plus 3 divided by root of Re plus 0.34. Okay, please remember this value. If it is more than, you check the value of Re by using this formula Vd by nu, and if it is greater than 2, then you have to do a correction with this formula, CD correction by this formula, 24 by Re plus root 3 by root of Re plus 0.34. Is it okay? So this equation is very important. This equation is called as Stokes equation to calculate the settling velocity of the particle. This also, let me repeat again, this is very simple. You can equate two forces. Number one is the impelling force, which is equal to your frictional resistance, simply rearranged, and you may get an equation. This Vs square is equal to 4dg by 3 into CD, SS minus 1. CD is again related to this 24 by Re if the Reynolds number is less than 2 or laminar flow condition. And Reynolds number is also been given as this formula, Vs into d divided by nu, where nu is equal to kinematic viscosity of water, again, which is equal to dynamic viscosity by mass density of water. Okay, by substituting and simplifying this, and you may get an equation Vs is equal to G by 18 Ss minus 1 into d square by mu. This equation is called as Stokes equations, or to calculate the settling velocity of the particle. And if it is other than laminar flow condition, then you have to go for a CD correction by using this formula. Is it okay?
Yes.
Yeah. So whatever we have discussed in this class is only the simple sedimentation concept, and for larger particle and smaller particle, which is the influencing parameter. And what are the different types of settling is type 1, type 2, and type 3 and type 4. Type 1 is discrete particle settling, and type 2 is flocculent settling, type 3 is zone settling, and type 4 is about compression settling. Each and every settling may have a different concentration limit and also their own behavior. Okay, and being familiar, and you have to be familiar with what are the types of what is discrete particle and how to derive the equation for calculating the discrete particle settling velocity by using the Stokes formula. Is very simple. Then you can equate the impelling force to a frictional resistance and substitute the value for CD as well as RE. You may get an equation as a Stokes equation. If it is other than laminar flow conditions, you have to correct the CD value by using CD corrections equations. That's all. Okay. Yeah. So let me stop here. Probably in the next class we'll see how calculation of settling velocity, and we'll also move on further to some parametric calculations that will wind up sedimentation activity. Is it okay?
Okay, sir.
Yeah, thank you so much. So let me download the attendance now. So most of the things I've uploaded in the Dropbox yesterday. Have a look. Start reading on the concepts, and this time also we are going for same objective type of questions is for assessment 2 as well. And this time I'm going to concentrate only on treatment options, okay, because that is very important. At least you can spend time on reading the notes, starting from mixing to disinfection for your assessment 2. Only related to these concepts for assessment 2. Thereby at least you can learn something about water chemistry or water treatment. Is it okay?